as a group, as a club, almost the same way as the Australian flag is treasured by the Australian people. And a few Blues fans at home probably love their jumper just as much, you'd say, and not happy they're wearing the white strip against Port Adelaide here away from home today. Warnock in the ruck. First knockdown. Bell couldn't get the clearance. Tui steps a couple, rolls it. Logan back into the side this week, kicks smothered, finds Schultz. Flicks a handball long. Pittard inside 50 for the first time. Lobe starting at full forward, beaten by Henderson.
Well, that's with Renouf coming in. It allows them to play an extra tall forward. Lobe starting there and Henderson picking him up. Leaves Jamison on Schultz.
Corns to Ebert, to Boak, to Wingard. And here is Lobe in a one-on-one. Yeah!
Wow. You don't see that from ruckman resting forward too often. Just the ability to, with one arm, to work your opponent out of the way and trap the ball with the other. That's classy.
Yeah, it's a great start by Lobe and, of course, Port Adelaide coming here today thinking that Carlton probably had too much to gain, Jason. You only had to be in the grandstand for 10 minutes, as we were prior to the game, to realise what an historic moment this is for the home club. And if he gets this one through, the roar is going to reverberate through the ears of every Carlton player.
Kicking two, the Port Adelaide end hits the post. Has had a great season, though, Matthew Lobe.
It's an unfortunate start, though. I mean, there's no way that they're going to have a resting ruckman forward all day. And they're going to play a few bursts there.
Yep.
And to get something out of it while it's happening, get a goal or two here over the course of the match would have been a bonus.
It does get Henderson away from that centre-half back position, which is a bonus as well.
There was Renouf for the fist, with Bryce Gibbs, Casbolt.
They got Cruiser and Eddie Betts forward, so they've done pretty well. But intercept marking is such a big asset in football at the moment, and that's a good start.
Holmes back into the lineup this week.
Big job for Trengove too on Jared Waite.
Once again, the intercept by Eddie Betts sets it up for the skipper.
So Murphy to Walker.
That was a great kick because there was nothing forward except for Trengove, who dropped off Waite, so he had to go backwards to hold it up.
Heads wide. Menzel. Half-man handled out of it. Young. He's played the last 3 games in a row after coming into the side for the first time this year a few weeks ago. Wants to hold his spot for the finals. And Logan back into the lineup this week. And you're heading into finals, you kind of want Tom Logan to be playing. Arguably the toughest of all of them out there. Trengove. Waite doesn't really come at him hard. Back to Logan.
Really good defence by Carlton. They shuffled across nicely. They're bringing the ball back, and they've opened them up.
So Cassisi also back in this week from a hamstring. Schultz, dangerous.
Oh, an aggressive kick. It hit the mark. That just had to be taken.
Yep.
Both players went in hard. Bell gave it to Simpson, coming off that amazing game last week, 33 possession game. It was almost their best. Eddie Betts. Cruiser wants it long. It's in his direction. Homch is his man. And Cruiser got hands to it. Couldn't bring it down.
2 players, eyes on the footy.
And that's a direct consequence of the sliding rule. Both players could have slid in. They didn't. Both players get up. No breaks.
Broadbent. Dangerous, but it comes off. Colhoun. Jonas to Broadbent to Ebert. Many in the crowd still finding their seats, but it has been a full house for the last couple of days here. Homch gets and goes. Good run from O'Shea. Kick not so good. Makes it tough for Schultz. He's got 2 to beat. And that's almost a win. Did that deliberately, disguised it well enough.
Just to give O'Shea an out there, one, I reckon he may have meant to grub that one because up the ground his teammate was behind a couple of Carlton players, and in the finish he may have got what he wanted.
I am a lover of the chaos ball, Jared, so I don't mind at all going forward that way.
I noticed a few others have fallen in love with the chaos ball, Dwayne.
I tell you what, more pressure coming on the Blues when you have a look at the other match in progress. Just 2 points in it as we get deep into the 4th quarter at Simmons Stadium. Brisbane trailing the Cats by 2. Of course, if Brisbane win, it means Carlton have to win today to get into the 8th. What an effort by the Lions.
Yes, if Brisbane lose, then Carlton could still lose this game and have other results go their way and fall in. And it would be falling in, Bradbury style. Stephen Bradbury, that is, of course. Ball out of play, and we'll get another ball in.
You can see the tension in the coach's box. So much at stake.
Renoff. He was a late in. If you've only just joined us, wasn't expected to play. Robbie Gray, a late out. Mark taken by Homp. She started well.
And Dom Cassisi running with Mark Murphy, the skipper.
Colquhoun to Tringove. Good movement. Logan's out wide. He wasn't spotted. Back to Colquhoun. Corns still got Logan. There it is on the overlap. And Montfrey's in the pocket. One ex-Bomber who will be playing in finals this year. Played for the Bombers last year, of course, and there was the trouble at the club, but he will be playing in September in 2013, Angus Montfreys.
Andrew McInnes, his opponent, will have his hands full.
Tough kick.
She looks good.
Makes a good fist of it. That is spectacular. What a way to start.
Well, make no mistakes, this is going to be one hell of a fight here for Carlton. Port Adelaide have jumped out of the blocks. They look really sharp, they look impressive. And when you start slotting goals from angles like that, you know the footy gods are running with you as well. Here's Montfrey's running back, gets himself into a pretty tight position, but just goes back nicely and slots it. McInnes will know you just can't concede any mark because it's so tight. Great shot there from the goal umpire, Cam.
And that's when Montfrey's has kicked his goals from. You can see the blue G's, so most of those in the corridor area. That's a tremendous finish from virtually on the boundary line.
37 goals, 18 this year. Warnock gets very high, almost wins himself a clearance.
32 touches to just 13 at the moment. Carlton can't get their hands on the footy.
And Young takes off. Oh, didn't use it all that well. And can Renoff get there to make something of it? He does. Tries to break through to Westhoff. To Moore in the pocket. Pushed on the kick and bounces out of play. Good spot for a ball in. Andrew Moore, who kicked 3 goals against the Blues and was one of Port Adelaide's best when they met earlier this year in round 8. There was a 3-goal win to Carlton at Etihad. Can steal a goal. Renoff. McInnes dragged down by the arm. No prior opportunity. Has to be a ball up. Tossed in the air. Renoff again. Schultz had a piece of it. Travis Boak. Stand start. Gee, that's looking nice. The electrifying start by Port Adelaide.
All issues for that man there, Mick Malthouse. The one thing you want to do when you're playing interstate, in particular in a big game, is take the crowd out of the game. And that's exactly what Port Adelaide have done early, is bring the home crowd into it. Look at the stoppage here. Keep your eye on Brett Ebert. It's a tough one for Bryce Gibbs. He's on goal side. He just loses a little bit of contact, and off one step, Boak just picks it up and kicks the goal. But that's the class of the skipper. He's had a superb season.
And some talk in Melbourne this week that he won't make All-Australian Travis Boak. Extremely unlucky to miss out.
Ollie Wines head-to-head on Jeppy Carlton at the stoppages at least. And Ollie's going to have to learn to play defence as well as attack. He's been excellent in both departments all year, but up against a bloke like Garlett, who's got him for pace, he's going to have to play a totally different role.
Travis Boak, great hassling. Tui tries to run free, got an enormous amount of time. Robinson, Arnfield, splendid smother as well off Henderson's boot by Wingard. He's a superstar on the rise. Doesn't have to be marking or goaling.
They do give you an eternity to get rid of the footy.
Bobby rolls into it. Ebert. Colquhoun started well. Corns little nudge. Wingard saw it out of play. No free Corns. 13-0 at the moment. Both teams coming off losses last week. Port smashed by Fremantle by 74, and of course Carlton losing last week in devastating fashion as well.
Final siren sounded at Simmons Stadium. Brisbane have gone down by a point. So that means they still have the possibility of sneaking in if they don't win the Blues, but they'd certainly want to make sure of it by winning today.
Well, Mark Harvey would be terribly disappointed. Ross Lyon would be elated.
Yeah, selected to rest a heap of players when he could have actually won the game and maybe stolen a home final week 1. Wingard. Moore stands under it, got a couple to beat. Tui puts it to the deck. Monfries squeezes it back to Moore. Top of the square, good spot to hit. Broadbent flies, Logan flies. Moore hits the deck. Wine's got his hands free. Ellard caught, stripped of it. Logan again in the clinches. High, goal square. Pittard!
Just hang on to it.
Well, the inside 50s are telling the tale at the present time. Carlton have been in there attacking 50 on one occasion. They're actually kicking with what is about a 10-knot breeze, so very minimal assistance, but nevertheless, they've gone in only one occasion, and Port Adelaide have basically lived in their forward half.
Curnow. Half back, bright sunshine, perfect conditions here at AAMI Stadium for the final ever AFL game here. O'Shea keeps it in to his detriment. Casbolt. 23, 24 degrees out there. It's magnificent. You can smell finals in the air as Ellard has to give it back when out of play. Shortish throwing. Advantage paid. Big break for the Blues. Murphy bangs it long. Eddie Betts is in a good spot. And a free kick against Menzel for a nudge out. Illegal Shepherd.
Well, the intent was there, but the execution just left a little bit to be desired. But at least it was a genuine attacking move by Carlton.
Casbolt plays on quickly, floats it back, and there's the instant turnover. They do look a little similar, these two jumpers, and O'Shea's got it back pocket.
Two of the worst kicks you'll ever see.
Yeah, I don't think the jumpers had anything to do with the turnovers. They were just dreadful kicks.
Here we go again.
But I think you make a fair point to one. If you're going to have an away strip, it's got to be significantly different to the one that we're seeing.
Just where that beautiful traditional weight goes up, lets it go behind. Almost Teddy Betts on the line.
Just having a look at this, Jared, at ground level, it looks like they're setting up a couple of loose players off the back of each stoppage as we see the third eye there from the goal umpire. Very close to being a goal. Port Adelaide is setting up behind the ball, trying to make it a foot race or a work ethic battle on the way out. It's working at this stage.
Straight down the middle of Trengove.
Really clever kick.
Just a 7-possession game last week against Fremantle, his lowest number for the season. Had a pretty good year as well, though. Jackson Trengove heads wide towards Lobe. Doesn't get there to attempt to mark. And Crum on the run. Monfries got his arms free. Cassisi lends him a hand. Thinks about Wines. He put him in a hole. Now, was that prior opportunity? You gave it to a guy who he knew would be tackled.
It was team prior opportunity at the moment. Unfortunately, that's not what the rule is. Ollie Wines was just put under the enormous pressure, had no chance.
He dragged two players over to him and then put it on his chest and said, "You cop that."
Wines to Corns.
Oh, big push out.
Westhoff's ball.
Interesting matchup, Andrew Walker on Justin Westhoff. He's going to give away a lot in terms of height.
Ebert dropping back, brilliant. And wouldn't Port Adelaide fans love seeing an Ebert in the prison bar jumper number 7.
He's been one of the great recruits, this bloke. Couldn't quite get a consistent game at the West Coast Eagles. Did the deal to come back home, and he's been just such a star for his new but old club.
His dad Craig wore this jumper. His uncle Russell wore this jumper. His father-in-law Bubbles wore the jumper, and he rams it through.
Great work ethic, great team responsibility. He displays all of those notions that coaches love, and there you can see the reason for the push out. He's
With that
just too
height
small.
advantage, exactly right.
He needs to use his athletic skills if he's going to play on a Westhoff. He's got the capacity to jump over his shoulder, so he can't body him up. But that's a really good kick to Brad Ebert, who's worked hard. And this is an amazing start by Port Adelaide.
Gerard Healy had told you earlier, if anything, Carlton started this quarter with a slight breeze, but it has dropped now. It's almost non-existent. Touch play on was the call and thrown out by Arnfield. Simpson drives his way inside 50. He was spectacular last week, and he starts in spectacular fashion this week.
Well, that's the sort of response Mick Moldhouse and Blue supporters are looking for. Simpson, you'd reckon, to be right up there in their best and fairest, if not the favourite this year. He's on the end of a really deft handball here. There it goes from Arnfield. Magnificent play, and the finish was superb. He's played a lot across half-back this season, has Adam Simpson, and he's there again today, and he's pushed forward. Kate Simpson, I should say.
Well, I'll tell you what would disappoint Ken Hinkley, and they're doing it again at this centre bounce. There are 8 Port Adelaide players in their back defensive area, and yet they still conceded a running goal like that.
Good contest in the ruck. Walker quick in off the square, but kick smothered. Good attack from Bell. Against the grain, though. Flies it to Simpson. Brilliant. Robinson. Kicks to Casbolt. He was the 1-on-2. Fantastic grab.
It's an interesting tactic, Jerry, to start with a couple loose behind the ball when you've kicked the first 3 goals of the game.
Well, it's worked for them, Jason, and they're going to stick with it, you'd reckon, until the scoreboard demands a change. But once again, Kate Simpson coming off that half-back line. He's been a hell of a player for them this year.
Might still play his 200th in the finals if they win their way through the Blues.
We mentioned All Australian. You'd be staggered if Travis Boak doesn't get a game, but there's always a half a dozen players that miss out that deserve to be in. Simpson's in the same vein.
Oh, Renoff's plucked that from nowhere.
It was 4 deep.
And he's playing to stay in the side, obviously, as well. Replace Robbie Gray, late withdrawal. Sits it up for Schultz to have a crack. Tried to beat him.
Big crowd, party time.
Lobe tries to give it off. Couldn't quite squeeze it away.
Let's have a look at Renoff's mark into the side to help out with the ruck duties for Lobe, and that's a good hanger.
That was an unrealistic leap, and yet he marked it. Brilliant.
One out the back was just way too easy.
Gibbs long, Gowan inside 50 on Broadbent. You can go back and have the shot.
Yeah, Ken Hinkley won't be happy with that, although he was a little bit exposed because of neither ruckman getting their hands on the ball. So Bryce Gibbs was just sitting out the back, got a picnic, and delivered a magnificent kick.
Is this his last ever game for the Blues? Chris Yarran. Needs to nail this moment. Will the future be what it is? Keeps it low and sprays it.
You know, we've always regarded him as a beautiful kick of the footy, but it's amazing what happens between the ears of players when they've got to stop and think about kicking at the 2 big white posts.
But it's not just his goal kicking, Jason. That's the problem, I think, at the moment. His confidence is down that badly that he's almost scared to touch the footy.
But the one thing when you're a beautiful kick of the footy as he is, you think you feel comfortable when you can rely on what you know you can do. But there's a big difference between field kicking and goal kicking.
Colquhoun to Logan, who spent that before it earned it. Going to try and give it back to Colquhoun. Turnover, though. Gibbs to Ellard, and he turns it over. Touch ball. Broadbent told to keep going. Somehow winds. I'm not sure it was meant for him. Monfries can't trap it. Jamison right with him. Ball in.
Kingy, you've been impressed by Port Adelaide's aggressive kicking from the outside corridor, coming inboard a number of times. It's high risk, high reward.
It is, Jared, and I think their work rate's something we undersell at times. I'm just watching Jasper Pittard working behind the ball. He's the loose man at the moment, needs to stay involved.
Almost there. Yep. Almost grabbed that. O'Shea hands it up just in time. Good attack, Simpson just couldn't run with it. Now Pittard does. On cue for you, Kingy. Good kick too, out in front. Fantastic ball though. Cruiser got back on Renoff. Still alive. Corns shovels it out. Wines looks up. He's got options aplenty. Boak. Great tackle. Cruiser. Westhoff tries to keep it alive. Tucked up against the boundary. Blues might want to get this out. Still a dangerous spot. Robinson. Fumbles galore early. Henderson, no Pryor, trapped between his legs, ball up.
Tell you what, it's great defence by the Blues there, Jason. They were absolutely out on their feet. But Cruz's defensive work there was superb for a ruckman.
Walker tucked up against the boundary. Maybe turn it over. Colquhoun misread that. Tringove sidesteps LR with ease and lace out to Moore.
Beautiful pass, isn't it?
They're just working harder, Jason, aren't they? They're just running to position to provide an option, to provide support. You can see their organisation behind the ball is first class at the moment. And Carlton are looking around, pointing, not really dedicating the work that's required at the moment.
Yeah, and they pressed right up, so every player on the ground was within 65 metres of the Port Adelaide goal.
Mentioned his biggest goal-kicking game this year was in round 8 against the Blues when he kicked 3. He's kicked 9 goals 4 this year. Sprays that. He's coming back. No one can pluck it.
.77 possessions to just 39. And Levi Casbolt is Carlton's #1 possession winner at the moment with 5.
Tui wide, he makes that tough for Simpson. He makes it impossible for Simpson.
Well, it's not great signs. That too is one of their best kicks. In fact, it's an extraordinary kick.
Chip, pocket, Corns. Got to say, too far out to score, you'd think.
Well, he's got Gibbs on the mark there, but he's running with Mark Murphy, Kane Corns.
And cut off by Tui, who's trying to make amends. West off the flick was clever. Monfries likewise. Gibbs back toward the line. Cassisi sees it out. Dom Cassisi back in after some hamstring tightness. The oldest player on Port's list. Young up-and-coming team. Finals. First time in a few years this year. Young, speaking of young. Couldn't quite break through with it, and we'll get another ball up.
Well, if we had the capacity to look backwards, there's 5 Port Adelaide players behind the last Carlton player. So they have got a wall to try and get through here, Carlton. They're going to have to run and gun.
Logan, they turned that over again. Betts, Arnfield.
Nowhere to go. He's got to need support.
So Gibbs looks up. He realises it now. Goes back so they can go forward. Menzel, Arnfield. Well worked.
They
did it well,
yeah,
Gibbs.
they did it very well.
So Walker. He's got a couple of one-on-ones ahead. He's got Eddie Betts on the run, or Simpson.
Well, Simpson coming off this half-back line's a real problem for them. They're setting up for the fast break style of footy, the slingshot, if you like. Eddie Betts has been, and Garland have been, two that have done some work but just haven't been rewarded at the present time.
Yeah, Garland just ran about 150 metres first with the ball, then came back up on a lead and was ignored.
So Bell looks for Cruiser, goal square, or Waite would have done. Ball to the back. Heavily strapped that knee. Jared Waite, and there is Matty Cruiser back into the lineup after a calf problem had him out. Back in this week. Warnock doing the ruck work. Flick back to Betts. Broadbent was right with him. Oh, that's going to ground. They both went to ground there. Casbolt's free. He was the one that stayed up longest.
Yep.
And that's fair enough. That's the rule.
Desperation's fine, but the rule is in place for a reason, and it's a good rule, and you've just got to live with the rule.
And Tom Logan's old school. He hasn't quite come to, yeah, that's a free. That's exactly why the free has been brought in.
We saw the knee buckle inwards. Could well have been a serious injury.
And it's a difficult one to grasp because all he's trying to do is punch the ball on in his direction.
He's gone back a long way.
Not trying to take the player out, but as we know, it can be a dangerous act.
7 goals, 6 this year. Levi Casbolt. Well, just on the 50 and he won't score.
You could see that. He nearly dropped it sideways. And right now, that doesn't do wonders for the confidence. You can imagine what's ticking over inside, just going, wow, that was a terrible drop of the footy. He's missed the target by 30 metres.
He's got some work to do, clearly, and I just wonder if he doesn't go back and start where Jimmy Stein started. That is with the ball sitting underneath one hand and drop it like that, because at the present time what he's doing isn't working. You can just see there it wobbles forward, and it's the only thing missing in what is a pretty good game at this stage. He's becoming a serious player.
Wines from the flick down, Boak through some traffic. Lobe, splendid hands, West off, jumped on. Arnfield extracts it to half forward again. The Blues travel. They've lifted a little. Wait. Casbolt runs. He goes wider to Murphy.
And the midfield for Port Adelaide are going to have to be a bit more attuned at running down, because it's pretty clear where Carlton are coming from. They're trying to attack from behind the ball, not from in front of the ball.
Murphy goes for the pass. Cut off by Schultz, but he spills it. Caught by Yaron, almost stripped of it. Kasisi gets a handball up just in time. Turnover again. Betts. Yaron, well, he tried to drop into that cleverly, and he was too clever.
Well, it's a big bloke, Jackson Trengove, tackling the little bloke, and the little bloke's on the ground, so you need to be incredibly careful as you approach that contest. And he went in aggressively, and you felt he was always going to make some sort of high contact.
Well, here's another test. Here's another big one for Chris Yaron. He's got to get his game going again. He's winning some footy, just needs something to really spark it.
Kick a couple last week. That's all players from that spot, 60%. To the Blues. And another missed opportunity for the Blues.
We saw what happened when they wasted all their opportunities last week, the Blues. They should have put that game to bed well before the final siren, and in the end it was stolen from them. And they've started in exactly the same vein today. 1 goal for, and they've been regulation shots they've missed.
That's the comparison, isn't it? They're getting missing regulations, and at the other end, Port Adelaide
Kicking it from everywhere.
Kicking from the boundary.
Outstanding mark, Ollie Wines. Hands off to Ebert. Floats one to Schultz, good enough. Back to Ebert, open forward line. Who does he want? He's got a couple of one-on-ones. Who does he want? Long, Logan, goal square.
That was a magnificent kick.
A superb, absolutely superb. He was nearly out on his feet, Brad Ebert. He'd run from deep in defence, delivered the ball, got it back, had a couple of bounces. He nearly had no legs left. I reckon that was about as far as he could kick it. It went about 40, 45 metres, but weighted beautifully for Tom Logan.
And from the top of the square, puts the full stop on a fantastic move.
We spoke about him earlier, Jared. He's a wonderful pickup, Brad Ebert, and also it's the leadership and the solid citizen sort of whole package that he brings to the club, which has been ideal for a young group. You just see him here, a couple of bounces, and then gave it everything he had.
Well, he's one, Jason, whose kicking was criticised a lot, but he's one of the most improved kicks, as is this club, in the competition.
So there's last week. Look at all those very kickable misses, all the B for behinds from the corridor, regulation shots that they sprayed everywhere, and they've started in the same vein, and that'd be really frustrating, Mick Malthouse.
Wingard looked up and he gave that to Mitch Robinson, who kicks to half forward. He gives it back as well, although some may be a problem for O'Shea. Trouble.
Yeah, lost his feet as well. Double mistake.
Short pass, Wait. Yaron tried the shimmy on Broadbent, and with 54 seconds left, ball in.
Well, I'm finding it difficult just here from the commentary box down the ground to distinguish between the two jumpers, and I think social media has nearly gone into meltdown about the same thing. It's just not good enough.
No, it's not, and they've got somebody at the AFL whose job it is to make sure this doesn't happen, because it's happened for a decade. You just put the Blues in their traditional strip.
When you go from light into the shade, the same thing was happening at Etihad Stadium again today.
Yeah.
It just becomes really difficult if you're watching at home on TV.
Shadows and similar jumpers. You can see they've both got, well, Carlton's jumper is 2/3 white on the back, and Port Adelaide's is half white. And that's the blaze you see very, very quickly when you're confronted with it.
Bizarre, really is. From the flick down, Gibbs, centering kick, top of the square, almost a free. Here's a free to Menzel.
Yeah, I like Menzel, Dwayne. He plays in front, a very talented young man. He's got a big future for the Blues.
Absolutely. He's eligible for an Uprising Star nomination. The Blues haven't had one this year. They've been one of the clubs that have missed out completely. 5 clubs without one. And Troy Menzel has played some reasonable games. Back home, Central District's boy. He played a few games against this jumper.
Jason, what do you think about the length of run up here? Good, bad or indifferent, it doesn't matter, just do your own style.
You go with whatever's comfortable.
Well, the siren put him off, and the whistle probably did. Not sure the umpire needs to blow the whistle just as you're about to kick it.
It's contagious, though. It is very contagious. It can sweep through a team. Missing goals, and after the break, Ken Hinkley talks to our own David King.
Coach.
And he made the point about the run on the outside. They're winning plenty of the ball, Jason, but they are working harder once they win the ball to go up and down the ground. They're carrying it better. They're executing better.
But Adelaide cannot go up or down. I'll finish 7th regardless of whether they win or lose this. But the Blues, in essence, the equation is they win, they're into the finals. And they lose, they're in the hands of the gods. North Melbourne and Collingwood to play tomorrow, and of course still the Adelaide West Coast Eagles game to come as well.
One end of the ground we've got a ruckman at full forward. The other end of the ground we've got Eddie Betts.
Even. Bouncing ball to Monfries. His hands free to the run. Colquhoun left it behind. Simpson on the rebound. Slick hands. Bryce Gibbs bangs it long. Good spot to go to. Eddie Betts plays behind. Steals it. Gives to Yaron. He's missed a couple. Won't miss from here. Finally.
Well, just a drop mark, and it was exposed by the Amigos. All three of them on screen. They're all happy. And if they can get a few more goals collectively, Mick Malthouse will be happy. It was a good rebound once again. Kate Simpson coming off the wing got involved. And then the long bomb. Eddie Betts was trailing in. Very good hands. And that dummy, you could almost have written the script. I think Jeppy Garlett would have liked to get on the end of it.
Three scoring involvements, 1 goal, but it could well be 3 goals for Chris Yaron. Back to a 10-point game. If you've just joined us, the biggest margin was 19. Warnock kicks smothered though by Boak, and Ebert gets the clearance. Touch play on. Schultz takes the mark. Caught to Monfries. Sold that dummy. Pittard. Ebert still running. Simpson just as good. Ebert dives in, went low. Arnfield gets the kick away.
It's the bounce.
Bell had to wait. Good reach from Colquhoun. Through the legs. Cassisi kept his feet. Boak, Corns, Colquhoun having an outstanding day at the office. Wide to Lobie. Henderson read that bounce nicely. Boundary line his friend, and he knows it. And he finds it.
It's a worry, Jason, that you could see that it was going to be a one-on-one with a Paddock, and it was only Port Adelaide. I think it was Pittard who got over there. It might have been O'Shea. Whereas Carlton didn't have anybody prepared to run gut bust to get there.
Yep.
Another shortish throw in. Warnock caught. Cassisi ducks out of it to Boak. Corns inside 50 just. Diving Schultz. Did he hold it? Umpire said yes.
That's a great effort. He was just about the only player that had his eye on the footy. Everyone else was running back expecting the long kick. And the ball got skied, it floated forward. He had eyes only for the footy. And that was a tremendous effort to get there.
I think it caught a little bit of grass, but he had it in control in his arms.
Happy to pay it.
Can be a dead eye when he's on. Tough kick. Gives it some air.
Oh, wow.
That is copybook again. 41 goals, 21 for the season for Jay Schultz.
And you said he can be a dead eye when he's on most of the time. When you talk about your routines, he has the same routine every time he goes. A lot of players' heads snapped up, thinking the ball was going deeper into the attack at 50. Eyes only for the footy, Jay Schultz. Lucky he didn't win himself landing on the footy. But that's a superb kick from there. A brilliant kick.
Yeah, he's always been one of the great kicks at goal. And he's been happy with that one. A nice celebration. Coaches spend hours and hours training all elements of the game, but right now, set shot kicking is a difference. 0-4 from 4 shots to Carlton and 4-1 from 5 to Port Adelaide.
Murphy tries to back out of a gang tackle. Umpire says he'll ball it up. Still fans coming through the gates here finding their seats. Full house at AAMI Stadium for the last ever AFL game here. Fantastic spectacle, and the weather gods have turned it on as well. Walker, good attack. Schultz corrals him, sends him back 15. He's got protection though. Jamison hoping for Cruz. He's got a couple to beat. Flick down, Yaron got his confidence back. Centering kick, bounce it across the face, and out of play is a win for the Blues.
Probably a better result than a behind, isn't it?
Yep.
Gives them a chance to set up at a stoppage, maybe create another goal-scoring opportunity.
The good news for the Blues is that Chris Yaron's getting a heap of the footy. He looks really dangerous. Could have had 3 goals by now. He's got the 1, but he's one I'm sure that Ken Hinkley would be really worried about.
Wingard. It's around Bell, flicks a handball wide. Moore, Broadbent on the back track as he kicked that to Young, and he can go. Not a lot long. Lobe short. Clever pass, he had to get it back. Another stat, Monfries. Corns. Wingard.
Clever.
She's a clever kick.
Oh, he's got Monfries running forward again.
O'Shea puts it in front, lets Monfries run. If it sits, it can go. Have the shot. Stroll into 40. And misses.
He was celebrating, must have flipped the post.
Oh.
He was off celebrating, so he's just flicked the post, and that is a let-off for the Blues. Have a look at this. Yep, just glances at. Great decision by the goal umpire.
I love what Port Adelaide are doing from a coaching sense here. They're making Carlton, or they're forcing Carlton to go coast to coast the hard way through their extra numbers, their spare numbers behind the ball. Carlton not renowned for stringing a marking chain together. 15th ranked in the competition for marks, and it's showing.
That's a horrendous kick because Yaron was 20 metres clear and missed by a teammate.
That's what's killing them at the present time. Their work rate is up and about in the respectable area, but they are just chasing the ball because they keep turning it over.
Kasisi to Colhoun, who's having a party. Not anymore. Dragged down, party over.
Uncontested possessions, 83-30. Carlton just cannot keep the ball, can't string a chain of possessions together.
Garlett to Bell. He's got Cruiser running back to the square. Tringove turns his back. Cruiser half held, might still trap it in goal. Eddie Betts wants it short. Given to Eddie, takes them all on, opens up the angle, and
Misses.
Did everything right except kick it.
And it's looking really dangerous. Their small defenders at the present time are getting absolutely butchered, but they are not being hurt on the scoreboard.
Matthew Broadbent barking some instructions. Ran off his target. Schultz is there, front spot. Jamison almost the fist and then the follow-up mark. Gibbs slips it out. Ellard, nice step. Tui, kick and hope. And it works. Garland.
He's in range. There's a few options. He's got a tall option forward. It might be Jared Waite that's pushed forward, but didn't release the kick early enough.
Back into
to go back and kick it.
Back into the team this week, Jeff Garlett. Left out last week for disciplinary reasons. He's kicked 39 goals, 25 this year. And he centres that well. West off hands.
Probably a little bit too long in reality. Yeah. Needed to be just in front of the square, not that deep, but they get another chance, reset from the throw-in.
Lobe front spot, 2 ruckmen against him. White tries to back out of that tackle. No prior opportunity, so got the benefit of the doubt. Ball up.
You see Kane Corns here now just shifting over onto Mark Murphy. They've exchanged duties.
He's up to 12 possessions, Corns. Murphy's had the 5, Jared.
Had 5 early in the piece. He was working really hard. Now the challenge is there for him because the blanket is now on him. This is better. Just missed out. Got tripped by friendly fire.
So Broadbent gives it to Corns. So another possession with that tag job. Schultz. And to think they nearly put Kane Corns off the list a few years ago. It's bizarre.
Having another outstanding season, isn't he? I love the way Jay Schultz positions himself when he floats up the ground to be a target. He always finds himself being used because he reads the play so well.
Ebert long. Monfries went up early.
Oh,
gee, I'm not sure why that's a free.
That is.
Oh, that's a free to Monfries.
Yeah, he's calling a shepherded out, and Cade Simpson can't believe it. And I'm really keen to look at a replay because it looked incredibly soft.
He thought he talented him, I think, but he didn't.
That's not a free, though.
Well, look, he did take his eyes off the footy, but there's no law against that. And he had absolutely minimal contact with him. And he'd overcommitted and leapt far too early. Monfries, anyway, was never going to get the footy. He still can't believe it, Cade Simpson.
In the meantime, Aaron Young, third game of the season.
I'm amazed there's only 43% probability from there.
This is for the biggest margin of the game. He splits the middle. They lead by 22.
Well, just one side of one end of the ground, as in Port Adelaide. They are taking the best of their opportunities. Here's the free kick again. He does look to bump him out of the contest.
I think you're also entitled to look back and see if you're about to get a knee in the head or if a bloke's going to jump on top of you or what he's doing. Mick Moldhouse can't believe it.
Conversion again, though. It's killing one side.
Been a handy pick-up, Aaron Young. Pick 36, part of the compensation for Nathan Cracker going to the Gold Coast. And, of course, Nathan didn't last long at the Gold Coast. Port Adelaide have made the most of that, and their recruiting has been very good in recent seasons. Crazy scramble in the middle. No one going anywhere.
Just looking at how they're scoring their goals at the moment, Port Adelaide, they've scored 4 goals counter-punching from their defensive half. That's sheerly down to work rate. Carlton just the one. So that's the gap in the game at the moment.
Monfries to Moore. Pittard. And it bounces. Arnfield right with him. Pittard goes for the line. In defence, that's almost deliberate, but in attack, doesn't get paid.
Let that last centre bounce had Justin Westhoff starting about 30 metres out from goal as a spare net man. Now he pushes up. Levi Casbolt has gone to him.
Again, cruising, ran off. Bryce Gibbs. Ellard caught from behind and rolled in the tackle. Not well enough, according to the umpire. Push in the back. Umpires today, Matthew Nichols, Simon Meredith, Troy Pennell. Umpires umpiring for finals as well, of course. Gibbs bangs it long. Westhoff.
Once again, the aggressive kick inside has to hit a target, and it does open it up for the double shuffle.
So Jonas, Colhoun, Hompsch. Just gets the kick away in time. Oh, pretty good effort from Renoff in the end.
Interesting attack on the footy.
Yeah, but it kind of worked. Robinson slides away from an attempted tackle. Port with the numbers. Through some hands, and they've got enough there to mop it up. Hompsch. Corns. Little 1-2 works to release him.
That's 4 metres.
Boat caught. Just gets a kick away. Floater. Shorts in a one-on-one. Ebert. Caught by Jamison. Caught high, according to the umpire.
Gee, it's hard when you're jumping up to reach the footy, Ebert, and it's hard not to make some sort of high contact when they've got their hands over their head with the ball and you're trying to grab the arms with the ball. So if you just tackle around the waist, you'll handball it away.
Port Adelaide, no doubt, want to run into the finals next week in good form. Gee, they're putting the foot down here. They're making a statement right now. 28 points.
Jason, I said he's an improved kick, but that's just rubbing it in.
You don't kick him from that top.
No.
Mind you, it's as good a day as we've ever seen here in Adelaide. There's barely a breath of air.
And the wind is the reverse to where it normally is.
That's a supreme kick. You can see he attempts to spoil, and it's minimal contact. I think that's a lucky free kick. Very difficult on Jamison. But that's a superb kick. And they look, Monfries kicked one at the other end. You make the most of your opportunities. You tend to win games of football.
It's a big effort to make the move back to his old home. He was dropped by the Eagles during the 2011 finals. It hurt. And he's about to be finals bound again, Brad Ebert. Back in the middle. Flicked down by Lobe against Cruiser. Cruiser back in hard. Corns kick smothered by Murphy. Cassisi. Colhoun goes back to go forward. Logan. And here's Ebert again on cue. Arnfield with him. Traps it nicely. Bell.
Good work from Arnfield. Somebody has got to put their hand up for the ball.
White. Good grab. And now the runners go for him. He could go all the way himself from inside 50.
Missed everything.
Horrendous.
Well, it's contagious, and it really has beset the club the last couple of weeks, but they still need more efforts like Arnfield. Ball was lost. He wins it back, gets up, gets it to White. The goal kicking will change. If it doesn't change, well, the game's over.
Broadbent runs his way all the way to the wing. Curnow chases him. He kicks long. Ollie Wines. Robinson.
What a great kick.
Wines sold it. Not quite. He couldn't quite sell it to Robinson. Kicks to the pocket. Well, he's just kicked one from here.
That's a great kick as well.
So Ebert to line up, and this time the angle is better, but the distance is further. Ollie Wines, what an outstanding first year he's had. He's played every game in his debut season.
He's been brilliant. Oh, no.
Just faded off.
They've missed one.
Still a good strike of the footy.
The difference in the game at the moment is the aggression of half-back. You touched on it before, Jared. Port's preparedness to come through the corridor or bite off that really aggressive pass. That one was slightly forward of centre. He just pulled that one back into the corridor. Carlton aren't doing that. They're going wide. They're being picked off.
Logan with a fist away from Tui, who takes it to the line.
The other thing they're doing, we heard Ken Hinkley talk about it quarter time, is they're sticking to their structure, so they're getting numbers behind the footy. And when they do bring it out of half-back, more often than not, they're running in a wave of 2, 3, 4 players that have got time to make good decisions.
So Gary Hocking with Ken Hinkley. Been a great tandem. Alan Richardson as well. It's been a fantastic pickup. Through some hands to Tringo. White bangs it forward in hope.
It's one element I think that Ken Hinkley will say at half-time. Too many of those balls are going to ground.
Yeah.
Need some stronger eyes, stronger hands, because they have just cost them a couple of goals that's kept Carlton in the game.
Cruiser, a big crash down, but Ebert pounces.
Jeez, his kicking has improved enormously. This will be the advantage.
So Boak would have got the free. Moncrief plays onto advantage, and Schultz, the dead eye, marks directly out.
Well, once again, Port Adelaide just taking away from a stoppage. Cruiser wins the tap. The ball goes to ground. Ebert mops up. He gets away. Beautiful delivery. And Schultz has a chance to put one nail in a coffin before half-time.
Kicked 6 goals, 2 from set shots. Carlton's kicked 4 points from set shots. For a 35-point margin, this is getting dangerous for the Blues right now.
It's a kicking routine you never get sick of watching. Jay Schultz, he does the same thing. It's a long run-up. He actually runs. He doesn't walk. He tends to get a bit of a run-up, but it's so smooth, so fluent, and he strikes the ball beautifully. He keeps everything so well aligned that very little can go wrong with it, and he's got a particularly efficient technique in terms of his ball drop from hand to foot. So he's a beautiful kick of the footy, and every time he lines up, you feel he's got the confidence of saying, I think this will go through. I expect it to go through because I'm a good kick, and it's just so fluent.
I just noticed Zach Tui there. You can't anticipate the umpire bringing the ball back. You have to play to the whistle, and he stopped and looked, and he gave his opponent 2 or 3 metres, and he was duly exposed.
Warnock wins a free. Renoff went too high. Henderson the target. Westhoff just with the reach, and he got all ball, no free. Aaron pounces. Centering kick. Made it tough for Ellard. Cassisi rolled on him, rolled into it, now rolled out of it. Cruiser wraps him up, ball up.
Well, there's the first change. Henderson's gone forward. He started back. They've swung him forward. We know he's very capable of both ends. They need him to get into the game very quickly at centre forward.
This game slipping away from the Blues by the minute. Ellard inside 50 to Henderson. Mick Malthouse knows that was a half volley. Gets the benefit of the doubt to play on call. Malthouse knows 35 points, something needs to change in the last 7 minutes and 53 of this half.
Good punch to space.
Murphy, he missed Betts. They weren't on the same page there. And that's kind of the story for Carlton and for Murphy. He just hasn't had that Judd, Kernahan, Bradley captain's kind of game yet.
Yeah, Cassisi went over and told him all about it.
Moore through Westhoff, who stole it back and still goes. Gibbs, sidestep was good, and in front of Arnfield, unkind bounce, broad bent, and now they peel. Trengove got it from O'Shea, gives it to Ebert.
Oh, look at this.
Hands it to Boak, and Colquhoun, he just keeps going.
He's got to take his time and figure it out.
Has a bounce to Ollie.
Perfect. Perfect.
Over the top,
Silly.
dangerous. Schultz, maybe not so.
I made a botch of it. Ollie puts his hands up and apologises. Too fancy. He got a set shot 25-30 out directly in front. He went for a 25-metre hand pass across his body that had to carry a couple of players, and it just wasn't on.
No, too much adrenaline, but tell you what,
Exciting.
you cannot believe this side compared to what we saw last year. It's just one of the all-time great turnarounds.
Unfortunately, that was a passage of play that deserved to go.
It did.
Flick back O'Shea. Westhoff just got the handball to Corns to set it up. Pops it to the square. You got plenty on that. Monfries lets it bounce. It was unkind.
Oh, it wouldn't bounce through.
Well, they had to bounce at that end against the Crows. They can't keep asking for them.
I thought he was just chipping the ball when he kicked that in, and it just kept going. The kick from Kane.
Well,
He's hurt his shoulder too, Jamison.
Bruce has picked up a little bit as well, but more importantly, as you said, Dwayne, the Jamison injury looks as if it's significant.
It can go away as long as it doesn't stay out of the socket for too long. It can pop out and straight back in again its way.
Yeah, he grabs it there as he goes over to affect the spoil. He's in pain. Still being attended to.
Cruiser and Trengove. Here we go.
Look out.
Garland on the run. Yaron's inside 50. Henderson is inside 50. Westhoff hunts him down outside of the foot. Henderson almost, still a chance, needs to get a toe on it. Fantastic tackle, Jonas. Still a chance, they rush it. And the crowd again are off their seats here.
That is brilliant, but oh, that's a terrible kick.
Turnover, Betts, Ellard stands start. He was hunted down, gang tackled. Crowd wanted ball.
Half the reason they got out of it before was because of a sensational chase from Justin Westhoff, who was making ground on Jeff Garland and forced him to kick a banana on the run.
Well, there's some signs, Jason, but they just cannot get the goal on the board here, Carlton. They've just got to find something before three-quarter time to take in, get a little bit of momentum going, get a bit of belief in each other.
Garland got it back, snaps it goal, and that's off direction as well. Westhoff, and here they run again.
He's moving like the stool gift winner at the moment, Justin Westhoff. I never realised he was that quick.
Colquhoun sells it to both. Back to Westhoff, short to Wingard.
Oh, they're on in the middle.
And fortune favours the Braves so often with Port this year. Young, Homsch, Boak, and they keep running. Trengove, he's got the overlap if he wants it. The Ollie Wines mistake makes him go back.
And it's a repeat play. They ran it, they had numbers, and they had someone jumping forward into space, exactly the way Ollie Wines did, except he just wanted to keep going with a rather silly hand pass instead of having the shot.
One of the concerns for the Blues is that Port Adelaide's excitement machine, Chad Wingard, he's had very little of it. And they're reminding me, Kingy, of getting on the Geelong Highway the way Port Adelaide are playing.
They are freeway bound. This will be 7 from counter-attack.
Well, they're coached by former Cat Best and Fairest, and of course Geelong assistant coach Ken Hinkley. Why wouldn't you?
Kicked it like a defender.
Yeah.
Gee, their run and their spread and their
Good, isn't it?
run out of defence is troubling the Blues.
Gibbs to Curnow. Cruiser. Great contest, Jonas.
And it's interesting, Jason, looking forward to next week as we take a look at Justin Westhoff.
Have a look where he starts. He gives him a good 7 or 8 metres. I didn't realise he was that quick. He forces him to kick the banana on the run. Sensational chase.
I think a lot of people have Port Adelaide as just making up the numbers in the finals. They are going to be brutally dangerous.
Ellard sidesteps high towards half forward. Ebert's down there. Cassisi also waiting. Through some legs. Good attack, Lobe. Just as good, Menzel. Bell kick smothered. Robinson tries to tunnel it out. Ellard. Murphy. Garlett. Ebert right with him. Used his body magnificently, then the fumble. Homsch dragged down. Henderson wrapped him up. No prior opportunity. Gave him a push, according to the umpire.
Well, it was a late
with the right
decision
call.
when he effectively saw him lying on top of him.
They just can't lock the ball in here, Carlton.
No.
No, it's coming out far too easy. It's credit to Port Adelaide, but gee, the
Defensive
defensive work
pressure,
of these
yeah.
forwards has been poor.
So here they go again. Broadbent. And now Pittard. Options are plenty forward. Schultz is the one he wants. And he got pushed after the kick.
He's out on the full, so he'll end up coming back to where he got pushed.
That's one of those. It was another great chase by Armfield, but he made the effort to get there, and then he just thought, I've made it this far.
So my understanding was if it went out in the full, it actually went back to where you kicked the ball.
Close to the
Nevertheless,
goal.
doesn't matter.
Moore, top of the square. Through hands dangerously. And Walker. Well, he thought about fumbling it across the line.
Well, we're looking for some response, and Kingy, I guess you're looking at this stage to have a physical response by way of defence.
O'Shady Young. Outstanding kick with the outside of the boot. And Young, who's already kicked one this quarter, can line up with what's probably the same shot he had last time.
I think right now Andrew Walker's regretting that decision not to rush it through Dwayne.
Carlton can still lose and make the finals. There's a lot of teams watching this. Port Adelaide will either play Richmond or Collingwood next week. They'll both be watching this. North Melbourne, of course, hoping Carlton lose. They'll be watching this. Young can't nail that goal, with Port Adelaide by 37 in the shadows of half-time.
And coming here, Dwayne, we believe that Adelaide or West Coast would have to win by 60 points. In fact, Adelaide need to win by 60 points. Well, the gap, if it's helped out by Carlton failing by that amount, will just come down to a win or a loss.
Very good point you make, Jared. Lobe, handball not so good. Corns makes it okay. Short, Wingard.
It's a nice kick of the footy.
Logan wants him to kick it up to the top of the square so he can take the jump. Schultz is there. Put it up on my head. Wingard might just kick the goal. He likes big moments. Opens up the angle. Bends it too far.
Well, they're peppering, but they haven't been able to put the nail in the coffin. And Carlton are probably pretty relieved that they've missed 3 or 4 opportunities in the last 5 minutes. Got a lot of work to do at half-time, though. Mick Malthouse, big barrel down the middle, and he doesn't get it.
Well trapped as well. Lobe got it from Pittard, gives it to Corns, pops it over the heads. Touched on the line by Jamison. Umpire says play on.
Play on or a goal, one or the other.
He looked up and everybody said keep going. Short to Robinson. Out to Ellard. Wingard's hunting him down. Bouncing ball. Dangerous ball. To Waite. Still a chance for a late goal for the Blues. They can give themselves some momentum heading in at half-time. Eddie Betts backtracks. 60 seconds left. To Cruiser in the pocket. Good grab.
Great grab. Well, we could look back if this one goes through and look at that shepherded goal that should have been a goal, which is potentially a 2-goal turnaround, and say that was a significant moment because the Blues need a little bit of luck from somewhere. This has got to go through for them. If they get a tailing up, as we said, Adelaide can go in tonight, and then it'll be up to North Melbourne as to whether or not they stay there.
Some ways, though, for Carlton to simply win, you're in. And Cruiser needs to nail this. Long, it's bending, it's beautiful.
That is, needless to say, incredibly important kick. There's the spoil, so the ball never fully crosses the line. And you get a great look at it from the third eye there. And then this is a terrific mark. Renouf couldn't get there to affect the spoil, and importantly, Cruiser, unlike a lot of his teammates, he was able to go back and slot the goal from the set shot and just breathe a little bit of life into Carlton's chances today.
Still a chance for one last score. 19 seconds from half-time. Renouf and Cruiser straight down to Bell as seconds start ticking. A roller forward by Robinson. Schultz gets back. Down to 8. And Boak should take the mark, and that might do us. Did he juggle that out of play? Won't matter. Half-time here in the final AFL game to be played at AAMI Stadium. And right now, the finals-bound Port Adelaide. Last played finals back in 2007 when they made the grand final and were smashed by Geelong by 119. Looking solid as they head to September, but a big second half still to come. Port by 32 to a full house.
Yeah, they haven't been able to keep it, have they? As much as they can win the hardball contest, they have not been able to string any sort of change of possessions together. Too many turnovers, too many drop marks, too many wasted opportunities in front of goal.
You just joined us. The biggest margin of the game was 38 points. It's 32 right now. Gibbs with the clearance wide. Menzel on the run. Homsch right with him. Almost throws him away, does Homsch. And tackle overzealous. Gibbs with the free. After getting the clearance, kicks it inside 50. This could be for the perfect start here for the Blues. Unkind bounce. And Ebert deliberately takes it to the line.
Well, good signs. Bryce Gibbs getting a couple of early touches, but he needs a few mates, particularly in the midfield, to start getting a little bit of the ball. Mark Murphy's been well held by Kane Corns. Just the 8 possessions for Murphy. Just not making anything happen around the stoppages and general play contest.
Kate Simpson's the other one, Jason. As much as when he's got it, he's been very effective and been damaging on the scoreboard. He's only had it half a dozen times as well. That rebound off the half-back line just has been relatively non-existent compared to the opposition.
A run here again.
So Boak gets it from Broadbent. A couple of bounces. He's got Schultz short. Hits him lace out almost. Jamison got a fist in. Waite down to Simpson. Bounces it to Gibbs. The Nelk boy back home. Played here as a kid, as a schoolboy.
That's Sling.
Oh, that hurt him too.
And there was no need for it in reality because the handball had gone to ground and they would have got the rebound on their half-forward line. There's the tackle and there's the sling.
And a big build-up to this game all week, being the last ever game at AAMI Stadium. And right now, the Blues are up against it to try and overcome what's been an amazing first half from Port Adelaide. Long kick from Walker towards half-forward. Westhoff read it well, but spills it. Simpson. He's got Warnock short. Needs to hit him. He gets away from Renouf. Made it tough for him. Has the flying shot at goal. Rolls across the face. Sets up okay for Betts. Corralled. Steps back.
Did well.
O'Shea didn't take it out. Still a chance, Eddie.
Jeez.
That is amazing. Eddie's back.
It's an incredible goal, but I'm desperate to see the boundary line again and see how that ball wasn't over. O'Shea looked like he'd corralled him perfectly. He didn't get beaten on the open side. He didn't let him sneak along the boundary. You see here, he backs him. Oh, that's over the boundary line by the looks of it.
I think that's why O'Shea gave up his position, because it did look as if it went over, but it's got to go 100% over. So let's just see. The boundary umpire couldn't be in a better position. That one is inconclusive. We'll have another look.
You need a bit of luck in this world. Sometimes I say it's better to be lucky than good.
The ball bounces out of bounds. It is the other end of it over the boundary line, which
that's the only out for the guy, for the boundary umpire at that stage.
It doesn't look great.
So Dygan's on the sub. Gives it up to McGuinness. Kicks inside 50. So the Blues have jumped with their sub already. Cassisi.
Casbolt's the man, Dwayne, which is a loss for the Carlton forward line.
More run down. Renouf. They've got some run back, the Blues. Some belief back. 26 points to margin. Pittard.
Irrespective of the debate about whether it's in or out, it was one of the goals of the year.
Yep.
Corns inboard.
There's that aggressive kick once again. They keep on pulling the trigger and they pull it successfully.
Colquhoun, O'Shea, Ebert. Colquhoun, 18 years of age, just his 8th game. He's had 14 possessions already, and most of them have hit the target.
Started where he picked up, he was picked up where he started in the first half. Brad Ebert, 16 possessions, a couple of goals, lining up for goal number 3. He just works so hard. He's forever running, creating space and options.
Strikes it okay. There's the instant reply, and he kisses the prison bar.
Massive response here from Port Adelaide. There's that inside kick from deep outside into the the midfield corridor, and just great transitional running by Brad Ebert. You can see him wiping his brow, wiping his mouth, getting ready for the attack on the goals, and he is having one hell of a game right now.
He's made a statement there with the kiss of the jumper. There have been a few, and some in the SANFL. Maybe this could be the last time you ever see this jumper worn by a Port Adelaide team. It could be about to be culled. It's been one of the big talking points here in the last couple of months. Is this the end of Port Adelaide's brand? You might be seeing it unfold before your eyes. It's not just about the last game at AAMI today. It's about this jumper for the fans as well. Monfries. Some say if you take this jumper away from Port Adelaide, for many, it's not their club anymore. Monfries from 50.
Doesn't look confident about the distance, does he?
Full house here for this last game at AAMI. Strikes it well, drives it long, just misses to the near side.
Well, we know that Kane Corns has done an exceptional job on Mark Murphy, but it's getting to the stage where Carlton nearly need to lock onto Kane Corns because he is distributing the ball left, right and centre.
Wait. And a lot of talk about the clash of jumpers as well. People watching at home have found it difficult. Curnow. I'm sure the Blues fans would love to see their team in their traditional strip as well.
Just be thankful we're showing it in high definition, Dwayne. You wouldn't be able to see a thing.
That's right. Wines. Corns bounces it to half forward. Monfries, good attack. Wines. Here's Ebert. Strolls into 45. Oh, he's saving his best for the last ever here.
Well, it's the Port Adelaide midfielders that are running berserk at the moment. Brad Ebert and Kane Corns chalking up big numbers. Corns 20-odd possessions, but it's Ebert that's doing the damage on the scoreboard. And his first couple of possessions in this term have resulted in goals. So we've got 4 goals to Brad Ebert. And he is cutting a sway through the Carlton defence.
Just having a look at the champion data rankings points, and he is absolutely BOG. Yeah, champion data ranking points tell you that this bloke is by far the best on the ground. If you get 120 or thereabouts, that's an all-Australian type of game for a midfielder. Right now, with a quarter and a half to go, he's got 115. He is...
It could be a big number.
It could be a massive number.
In fact, they've blown the stats up here. There's no stats for the media here at all at the moment. Simpson breaks free from half-back. Blasts it to half-forward. Westhoff. Cruiser attacks it. Colquhoun. Again, the 18-year-old. Tringo to Ebert. And you talked about it being contagious earlier, Gerard. Great effort from young and old. Yaron trying to inspire them. He takes them on. Runs to 50. Can he equal Eddie Betts' performance? Goes to the square. Betts off hands. Didn't go for goal at least, Yaron. Tried to do the team thing, and Young has it at half-back. Colquhoun.
I think they needed that, Carlton. They needed Yaron to show a little bit of spark, a little bit of life. That was almost the perfect play there for Carlton. They're not out of this game. It's 39 points, but I can see a little bit of fight here, a little bit of resilience, a little bit more overlap run, and they will make a charge.
Colquhoun again.
Gee, they're using the ball well by foot. They've opened it up
to Logan. It's been a good addition again today. Short pass. Renoff, probably not the pass target. Wingard about to pounce from 50. Centering floater, top of the square. Great pick on the run, Dygan.
It was, Dwayne. That was a magnificent attack on the ball. It was one of the first times I've seen Wingard pick the wrong option.
Walker towards Henderson. And the ball rolls out.
He had the short. Schultz was there. That's the target he needed. Here's Yaron. And there it is to Eddie Betts. It was perfect, but Eddie couldn't quite grab it.
Wines. Couldn't quite. Neither could Bell. Neither can Warnock. Ebert. No prior opportunity as he's grabbed. Finally, Lobe. Yaron. Walker.
Not too many options unless he can hit Curnow in the middle.
So Curnow and O'Shea will hunt it down. O'Shea. Now he dragged that under. Umpire will ball it up. You've just joined us. The equation is simple. Carlton win. They're into the finals in 2013. They lose. It's all dependent on other results. Gibbs bounces it inside 50.
Good defensive running there by
Westhoff. Missed his target by hand. Mops up his mess. Colhoun. It's been everywhere. Homsch. Been another good addition this week. Missed a few with that fractured cheekbone. But back into the side and lively. Dygan.
Well, this is the first time we've seen them get repeat efforts in their forward 50, Jason, being able to keep the ball inside their attacking half.
What they need to do, though, is capitalise on the scoreboard.
Westhoff. Good attack from Betts, just as good. Was Homsch dragged down. And the umpire will have to sort this out. These two teams met earlier this year, and the Blues won by 3 goals. Last time they met here, Port Adelaide did smash the Blues. Garland around the body. Across the face.
And Broadbent, who's been playing up the ground or in the back half, he pushes down deep to take the kick out.
Grew up in the shadows of AAMI Stadium, a Henley boy. Matthew Broadbent. And he pumps it to Ebert. Good battle. Curnow put it back inside 50. Tough ball to mark. Westhoff does a fantastic job.
Good hands, really good hands from Justin Westhoff. An awkward spinning ball. Always looking to switch it or bring it back into the corridor.
Colhoun.
Carlton have been able to man up here. Really got a one-on-one all over the ground. That forces pinpoint accuracy from the kicking, and if they make a mistake, they'll prey on it. And there it is.
And there it is, Simpson. Can he make them pay? Chips it inside 50, and Walker will kick from just outside the arc.
Well, if you're sitting at home and you're a Carlton supporter, you'd be saying, what can Mick Malthouse do in the box? What can individuals do? Well, the one thing they can do that's simple is take your shots when they're given. At the moment, there's an opportunity, a set shot. We've seen it really beset Carlton the last couple of weeks. It's why they're in the position they're in right now.
He's back in from a quad injury. He's only kicked 1 goal in the past 11 games, Andrew Walker. And he still has only kicked 1 in 11.
So you can run harder, you can tackle better, you can have all the tactics in the world, but if you can't take your chances when they present, Jason, you're going nowhere.
Yeah, in particular, if you're missing everything, you're a long way off it, aren't you?
What they've got to do is continue to keep this ball in. Don't let another one go down and get scored at the other end, because that just kills the confidence, and that is a Woomba banger of the best sort.
And he gets away with it. Lobe, Monfries, no one in the square. And he can't bounce it in.
Well, he didn't have the pace to break away, Angus Monfries, and he also wasn't able to find the time to straighten. Had to kick it really quickly off a couple of steps. He had McInnes in hot pursuit.
I think he was looking for the bounce. You only get one of those bounces in a career.
Walker heads to Cruiser on the wing. Ran off. A late inclusion for Port Adelaide right with him. Dygan. He was a late inclusion for the Blues with Scotland laid out. An unexpected out. Tringove to Homsch.
Gee, that's a dangerous kick. And now they're wide open for the rebound.
Gibbs, Yaron takes on Homsch, wins with ease. Centering kick. Eddie Betts stands under it. Murphy at the back. He lost both of them. Needs to nail of the captain and does. Keeps them alive.
Well, it was the kick from Jack Holsh in the middle of the ground. And they've been aggressive with their kicking. They've been attacking. They've tried to take the game on. They've used the corridor when they can, but that's not a kick you can pull the trigger on. Have a look at the next 4 players nearest the contest.
Yep.
It's a 50-50, and then you've got 4 Carlton players coming in support. The quick turnover, and it gives plenty of time for Yaron to deliver. Another opportunity that Eddie Betts wasn't able to grab, but Mark Murphy good enough to swing around and kick a goal. And boy, does he need to get himself into the game.
Hadn't managed a goal in the past 5 games, Mark Murphy. They needed that.
Free kick here to Carlton.
So a free kick to the Blues. They get some momentum. Warnock puts it to the sky. Westhoff stands under it. Murphy's got 3 to beat. Westhoff spills it and then mops it and finds Corns.
They've gone small on the forward line, Carlton. I think they've done that to get the harassment levels up, because this Port Adelaide side have just shifted through them out as they go again out of that defensive half.
Yeah, Robinson overcommitted there. Good pass to Schultz.
I think one of the first things, though, where Carlton has made an adjustment is they're not allowing a couple of spares behind the footy for Port Adelaide. So they're trying to make it a more accountable game, a more one-on-one game.
In going small, though, Kingy, they have got the advantage at ground level, but that long kick coming out of the centre was just there for Justin Westhoff, who I think is going to camp there.
What a spear that was to Monfries. And now Trengo's run on. Had a shot earlier in the game, missed it. He'll go back and have another deliberate shot here.
I like the kick from Monfries. He actually chipped it and made Trengo run into space.
Well, they've got to be careful here, because Angus Monfries is just cruising around looking for to get on the side of it. Maybe Justin Westhoff, because he doesn't really want to have this shot. He'll load this off to Westhoff.
And here goes Westhoff.
Slack from Carlton.
Well, Walker turned his back on the mark, and Westhoff says, how do you like it?
Well, I think you'll see this a few times during the week. That's as damning a passage of play or piece of play. And there's the inquest amongst the defenders. He comes from defensive side, and you can see Trengo pushes into space. We saw him have a shot in the preceding quarter. In the second quarter, he put it out in the full. And then Westhoff drifts down from well in defence, and there's nobody within cooey. And Andrew Walker on the mark. No good kicking the ground.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
That's horrible.
That was absolutely horrible. You could see that mile off. Trengo was never going to want to take that shot. So it was Angus Monfries initially trying to get in the position. And then it was Westhoff. And you can't just blame Westhoff's man, even though he'll be the #1 person culpable.
There was no awareness from any Carlton players.
A lot of Carlton players had their back turned towards the goal, looking up at the scoreboard. I mean, there should have been 15 people screaming.
Mick Malthouse, in his 29th season as a coach, he's seen a lot. He didn't like seeing that. And their chances of playing finals are slipping away by the minute. Simpson wide. Garland. He was the star when the Blues beat Port earlier this season. Kicked 4 goals in that game. They need him to start firing quickly. To wait. And just waiting and taking the puck is O'Shea. Goes back again. Fortune again favouring the brave for Port Adelaide. Taking them on at every opportunity. Corns, Jonas sits it on Moore. Yaron goes up. 2 with him. Over the head of Curnow. Good attack from Ellard and Ebert. Neither went to ground. No prior opportunity. That can't be ball.
But he did well to hold it in Ebert because he had support, Ellard.
From the flick down. Free kick.
Free kick again. So they're getting a good run at the moment. What they've got to do is capitalise on these opportunities going forward.
Hands it off to Murphy, but puts him into trouble. McGuinness all the way back to the centre, to the open side. Henderson spears that to the lead, and good pluck, Wade.
Yeah, that's a great kick. Good passage of play all round. They just got to finish this now from Jared Wade. Tough mark, in fact, magnificent hands from Jared Wade. Can he slot it?
Well, that's one of the differences, Jared. Port Adelaide are hitting targets 30 metres out from goal. He's had to mark this 46, 47 metres at full burst with a perfect kick. It'll take a beauty from here.
Strikes it well. It's bending late. Post. Talked about how many teams are watching this game. Of course, Collingwood or Richmond will play Port Adelaide in the first week of the finals next week. North Melbourne watching, because if Carlton lose, they're a chance to sneak in. And of course, Adelaide, as Jared mentioned earlier, with this percentage loss for the Blues, if they go down by a big number, this could be playing into Adelaide's hands as well tonight. Port Adelaide could be helping their crosstown rival. Curnow. 77-39. Still a ton of time left. Curnow all the way back to McGuinness.
Set shots 8-5 for Port, 1-5 and 2 out in the full for the Blues.
Got to be careful the way they're moving the footy, Port Adelaide, because once again they've allowed Justin Westhoff to drop off. He's deep in defence, hanging around the 50-metre arc, looking for the long bomb forward.
Here it is.
So Westhoff about to jump. Up early. Free kick.
Ooh, just didn't time his leap then, Westhoff.
Bryce Gibbs.
He should have hammered that one, shouldn't he? He sat there and had that perfectly set up.
And Logan's fist wins out against Eddie Betts.
That's the kick they've got to avoid. They haven't got a tall target down there at the moment. Just can't kick that high ball to Eddie Betts and expect to get a result from that one. Even the chaos ball, Dwayne, that you love, is probably going to give more results on the scoreboard.
Well, inside 50s, Kingy, 15-7 in this turn by favour of Carlton, and yet they just cannot penetrate the scoreboard.
Wines to Young, and he doesn't play on. He holds it up.
He'll end up with 40 at this rate, Kane Corns. He's just running around, getting touches at will.
Westhoff and Young share a couple. All the way back to Homsch.
This is just soaking up time at the moment. Carlton aren't making them hurt on the scoreboard.
That's a really poor option. That was the one thing they couldn't do, was blaze long to where all the Carlton numbers were.
Well, they've got to lock and load again, but they've got to somehow manufacture a goal.
Murphy straight down the middle to Simpson. Monfrey's overcommitted. Opportunity for Curnow. Now Eddie Betts dances inside 50, ran himself into trouble. Warnock, a high bomb, cruises under it, ran off with him. Ball thumped past a couple, straight to Lobie. Handball smothered, still alive. Young handball smothered, still alive. Eddie Betts off the deck.
Eddie should have had a shot before rather than giving it to the ruckman.
On the run from 45.
He was inside the 50, bang.
And again, you talk about confidence. They're missing goals they should kick. They've got 5 goals, 10 to their name. It's just not that automatic reaction as far as see the target, pull the trigger.
You just don't know. This could be the last ever game for the Blues for some of these players. They might not know it yet. Eddie Betts hasn't signed his contract. And a lot of speculation about Mick Malthouse cutting the list at the end of this year, culling a few, starting afresh. Cassisi waits under it, lets it roll. Broadbent. Corns again. Put him down for another. It's a little high, but he fell into that high one, bloke, and he's hurt.
Well, he's had a magnificent year, and he's going to captain his club into the finals in his first year as skipper. He just ducked under that, but it must have just clipped him.
Tui flicks it up. Corns another one. Wines. Fantastic by Cruiser. Dragged him down, dispossessed. Logan to Boak, who's up and okay now. Blues with the numbers. Henderson. They can reload again. Hanging in there by the skin of their teeth. Curnow. Ellard. Kick smothered. Broadbent. Put Adelaide with the numbers. Cruiser. Caught. Towed off the deck, and it works. Wait.
Oh, that is a rather bizarre way to actually get an entry going forward and hit a target. Just a scrambled kick off the deck, but sometimes it just takes the right bounce or the right luck of the draw to get a little bit of momentum going. But Jared Waite's got to kick the goal. I mean, they've had so many opportunities from half a dozen different players that have had regulation shots, and some have missed the target completely.
No need to tell you, a whole season could be wrapped up into this. Kicked 7 goals against Essendon earlier this year, but has struggled in front of goals since, and still struggling.
There's a sign of frustration and resignation. What can you do if you can't put it between the two big white posts?
Corns, as if you didn't know.
Well,
almost.
That is a brave kick.
Pittard caught, dragged down. Garlett spins it around the body. They needed that, and he keeps the door open.
Just over ambitious there by Port Adelaide. No need to, when the scoreboard reads as it is, be this ambitious, be this reckless, if you like.
I wonder if he sees, does he see Jared Waite coming in?
Well, clearly not. But I know there's a solution to Carlton's problems. Kick round the corner. Even at set shots, Jason, just go around the corner. Because they can't kick them conventionally.
Well, Ken Hinkley was letting it be known.
And I think he was entitled to be a little bit frustrated with that, because they gifted a goal to Carlton to really give them a little bit of hope.
This has worked this change of the forward line mix. They had 1 forward 50 tackle to half-time, Carlton. They've had 5 this term. So although they're not marking the ball and making the most of their opportunities, they are putting pressure on Port Adelaide on counter-attack.
Secondary ball up. Cruiser tries to get his own clearance. Gibbs, who's given them plenty. O'Shea caught by Garlett, dispossessed. They've got their mojo back, the Blues. Robinson heads wide. Bryce Gibbs just didn't sit for him. High kick. Menzel getting back with the flight. O'Shea just ran it down.
I get the feeling, Jason, that Port Adelaide have actually ground to a halt because they've just tried to kill the clock. They've stopped being adventuresome and they've stopped running.
Perhaps they're a little tired because they've worked at a furious pace in the first 2.5 quarters.
Logan back pocket. 2 minutes from three-quarter time. Henderson. Still a chance here, the Blues, to add another one. And it opens up for Yarran.
They've got short options.
Pokes it inside 50, and Curnow has the responsibility. Thought about playing on.
Flirting with danger at the moment, Port Adelaide. They're just sitting back, thinking numbers behind the ball is okay, but they're not creating the way they were when they actually win possession down back.
Spent some time here. Ed Curnow on the Crows rookie list. So he knows where they are here. Hits it well. Oh, delightful. Don't give them away just yet.
Well, Port Adelaide have had a shocking run of losing third quarters. This is the 7th week in a row that they've given up in the third quarter, given up the lead, that is, or given up scoreboard dominance. They just can't get it done after half-time. The good news for Port Adelaide, though, is so often they have just stormed home in the final term. So maybe they just put the cue in the rack for 20 minutes to refuel. And they're going to have to, because the Blues have got a sniff.
They've got a 3-man forward line at the moment, Port Adelaide. A heap of numbers behind the footy. They're just trying to get to the three-quarter time break. They've got to take the initiative and actually hit the scoreboard again.
Renouf palmed it down to his disadvantage. Get another ball up.
This all started off the back of the Chris Yarran run. Some excitement, a spark with someone who wanted to change the course of this game. If they keep running here, Carlton, they're right in this game. They've got to maintain their belief.
Well, it's the first time they've looked in the contest. They've got themselves within 4 kicks, but is there some run here left from Port Adelaide? He's looking for Ebert again.
Yeah, winds to Ebert. Boak gave him a shepherd. Short pass, hoping for Schultz. Oh, baby, that's a good grab.
Gee, it needed to be a good kick and it needed to be a great mark, and it was both of those. Jadison was back, Henderson was back. Schultz at full tilt on the lead. The chip kick from Ebert and a great pair of hands. And this would be something against the run of play. And a nice steadier for Port Adelaide if he can kick it.
Siren won't sound on him. Ticking down to 20. Splendid kick. He takes us down Quality Street every time he lines up for goal.
Has been on fire, has Brad Ebert, and again he has just set it up for Schultz. It was a A-grade mark and then it was an A-grade conversion, and they have just ripped the heart out of Carlton by continuing to make the most of their opportunities. Two goals, one now to Jay Schultz. 13 possessions, he's had plenty of the ball. In fact, he's got 3. It's a stats update.
Port Adelaide get to jump with their sub, aren't they, David King? Lewis Stevenson still down there?
Still down here, Dwayne, waiting for his opportunity. It won't be long, I wouldn't have thought.
Last chance for the Blues. 7 seconds left, and that's the end of the last chance. There is Lewis Stevenson back into the lineup this week. And who knows if he keeps his spot on the team for next week. A move from the Eagles. The West Coast has been well and truly worthwhile. Siren sounds. One last quarter of AFL football here at AAMI Stadium before they turn the lights out for the last time. And Port Adelaide at three-quarter time, finals bound in 2013. It's all up to the Blues, 29 points down.
See around the stoppages.
Well, if they're going to, Jason, they need to jump in early because Port Adelaide have had a history of coming over the top of sides all year, and they've done it so effectively here at AAMI Stadium. They're going to shop. They've got to shop early.
29 points to margin, full house here. Last ever AFL game at AAMI Stadium, and Warnock gets the clearance. Westhoff attacks it hard. Garland to his own advantage. Arnfield feeds it back. Gibbs, who's tried gallantly. Long, goal square. Digan's down there. Eddie Betts waiting for the crumb. Gathers, goes, stolen by Broadbent.
Kate Simpson's been pushed forward. It's a good move, get him into the action. They've got to kick a winning score. He's one that can.
Ebert, Curnow shuts him down. And did he have prior opportunity? The umpire said, keep going, boys. Walker.
Energetic start by the Blues, and
Murphy.
this is going to open it up.
And this becomes massive for the captain. He needs to deliver.
Well, he's the right man with the ball. He's a beautiful kick of the footy, Mark Murphy, and this is the regulation shot. And all of a sudden, this will make Port a little bit nervous. Gets them back within 4 kicks and gives them a chance to run over the top of Port, the Blues.
7 a moment for Mark Murphy to scoop up.
That's what he has ahead of him. And that could be the fire starter.
Great kick by the young skipper. He would have known what was on the line with that kick, and he's gone back and absolutely drilled it.
Well, that's just incorrect disposal, but Carlton able to pick up the loose ball and terrific kick in. If Mark Murphy didn't mark it, Eddie Betts would have. Most importantly for the Blues, finally a good finish from a set shot.
Four kicks in it. 23 points to margin.
Not a bad idea either. He wasn't getting a heap of it on ball, so they're giving him a stint forward now, Mark Murphy, and already reaps a goal.
Curnow, slick. Walker just as quick to Betts. Hands it up to Simpson. To the top of the square. Cruiser in a good spot. Got hands to it. No arm slap free. Westhoff. Hunted down by Robinson. Ball in.
It's worked really well having Westhoff deep at these centre clearances. A number of times throughout the day, he has been the difference between Carlton getting a shot at goal and Port Adelaide clearing the ball.
Chop of the arm.
Free.
Chop of the arm. Should have been a free kick to Cruiser.
Ebert slips a handball out. Ellard dragged down.
Funnily enough, in the space of a couple of minutes, Port Adelaide looked nervous and Carlton looked like they've got some run in the legs.
They've got some belief now, Jace. That's the thing. They need a big goal from a stoppage or a big centre bounce goal if they're to reel this margin in.
Maybe from Eddie Betts to the outside of the foot. Not quite.
Well, now's the time to attack from Port Adelaide. They have run themselves all year into a finals campaign. No point stopping now with 30 minutes of play remaining.
West off to Corns. Possession number 31 for Kane Corns. Wide to Broadbent. And there's that run. Cruiser chases him. It's a floater.
Straight to the loose.
Walker can't mark, but he pounces, landed like a cat and goes to the top of the 50.
That's a great
Geiger.
mark. Yep.
Splendid grab. Gibbs runs for him. He ignores Gibbs, goes wider. Yaron, this is his moment. Takes them on and drives it home.
And here come the Blues. They've been coming all day, except they haven't been able to register on the scoreboard. Well, finally, the game breaker has got one, which may impact on further future proceedings here, Jason. They've stopped Port Adelaide. They've got to get some runners going, and Port Adelaide and Carlton really haven't even started the run. They've just got a little bit of positivity going, and if they don't match at Port Adelaide, it's going to be a hell of a loss.
David King.
I think Ken Hinkley understands the situation. He's made his sub. Stevenson into the game. Colquhoun's out of the game. They need some run. They need some spark.
They need a stoppage as well, because Carlton have got the last few and they're just pumping it forward. Nothing scientific. It's just concerted pressure. Pump it forward, get numbers there, and they're starting to reap the rewards.
Not a spare seat in the house here at AAMI, and it's come down to a massive climax here. Only spare seats are those owned by the people up on their feet at the moment. Can't bear to watch it sitting down. Garlick, centering kick.
Great
Good pick on the run, Menzel. To White, to Arnfield.
Too quick.
Eddie Betts. He's about to make it a two-kick game.
It's an amazing turnaround in the space of 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, it's not really 3 or 4, is it? Because it started halfway through the third quarter. They just couldn't kick the goal.
It wasn't happening on the scoreboard. You're right.
10 points, the margin, 16 and a half minutes left.
Well, in this term, it's 5 disposals to Port Adelaide, 22 to Carlton. It's 3 goals, 1 to nothing on the scoreboard.
A great pickup from Menzel. Clean hands, the half volley and dish off. That's superb.
And a great look at it. No one can miss from there.
A deafening roar ringing around AAMI Stadium. The big three. Cruiser, Betts, Gibbs having a rest from the ruck contest. Bell with the clearance. Warnock bangs it forward. Westhoff. Good hands.
Tell you what is interesting is Carlton have sent Chris Yaron to Kane Corns, and he is just picking the right time to work off him, use his speed to break away.
Logan to Broadbent.
I just wonder how long they can continue to have the spare man behind the play, because they are not getting the ball inside their forward 50 at the moment. Defence is not going to work for Port Adelaide. They'll get run over.
Well, there's no run coming from behind the footy, which we saw for the first 2 and a bit quarters.
They went small. Mick changed the mix down there in the forward line. They went small, and they've been able to put some pressure on since halfway through that third term, and they've caused 5 goals, 2 from turnovers in this second half of football. That's great coaching.
And now that there's no run from behind the footy, they're just kicking it long to where Carlton have got the extra number.
Moore goes wide. Warnock thumps it further forward. They do have their run back, the Blues. Curnow tight ropes the boundary with a handball. Broadbent keeps it alive. There's the wrist kick. Inboard.
But the next kick, there's nobody to kick to.
So Jonas to Wines. Have to maintain possession. There's Stevenson on for his first run. The sub. Here he is again. Shrugs. Rolls it. Boak trying to flick it up. Tui. Turnover.
And the rebound players are there. Watch the wave of play go.
Downfield, free kick, Blues.
Well, Menzel's free. They won't take the risk with the one up the middle.
All the run is coming from Carlton now. Numbers out here. Menzel's 30 on his own.
Walker sees him. Schultz tries to shut him down, gives a free away. Probably a professional free there.
Did it very well, Joe Schultz.
Port Adelaide's biggest ever non-showdown home and away crowd here. And they are on the edge of their seats. Westhoff nudge, gets a free. And again, the crowd find voice. Carlton win, they're in. Finals in 2013. They're 2 kicks from the lead. Westhoff to half forward, Renoff. Arnfield, Gibbs, Curnow. Good fist Westhoff.
Waves of runners, Dwayne. Waves of runners with blue jumpers on.
Menzel to Murphy. He takes off. Caught by the collar. Fantastic tackle. Still a chance. Walker squeezes the full forward. Got it!
Well, it's just relentless. The running from behind the footy now is all Carlton. And they've got no legs, Port Adelaide.
And they've got no capacity to be able to outpace the small forwards if the midfield aren't under pressure when they kick the ball. Set shot goal kicking. It's been the floor for 2 weeks as Mark Murphy changed the tune.
It's not just the crowd here on the edge of their seats. Every Blues fan at home. Get out of your seat now. It's a 4-point game.
It's hard to see where Port Adelaide's next goal is coming from. I mean, this is about as one side of the quarter as we've seen this year. Maybe high contact there around the head on Mark Murphy, but it didn't matter. Because look at the numbers streaming from behind. And then beautiful delivery from Walker on the left to the leading Garlick. And the small forwards for the Blues are just finding space. Leading up, leading back, leading laterally. Nothing Jonas could do.
Port Adelaide still in front, but you'd rather be on the Blues right now. They are full of run. The last 4 in a row. Wine slung. It's been good since coming on Dygan. Kick to half forward, Broadbent. There's a few Port Adelaide players who are spent. Trengove goes to ground. O'Shea. Wingard. Boak. And it works. Hopsch, whose turnover earlier was costly. Wines takes them on. To Travis Boak. Doesn't want Schultz. He goes for goal. It'll bounce. Tumble. Roll. Schultz dragged down the line. It's a behind.
Well, it was awesome defence down there by the Blues. Jamison did a magnificent job, and the Blues quickly go into attack. Can they go both ways now, Port Adelaide, or are they spent?
He's running rampant now, Yaron. He's found his legs.
Gibbs. Robinson. Curnow. Menzel on the run. Not quite.
Gee, that's a good score.
Jonas shut him down. Ebert back to Jonas. To O'Shea. Port Adelaide finds something all of a sudden. Stevenson to Wines. Wants to go long. Schultz is on the march. It's a wobbler. Tough to grab. Great one-on-one. Jamison. Schultz. Jamison has Murphy. Made it tough for his splendid pick.
That is brilliant skills from Murphy under enormous pressure, and he set his side up for the rebound. And good work from Jamison, clearly.
Arnfield to Bell. A little too wide.
I'll tell you what this is, Jared. This is perfect training for a finals campaign for Port Adelaide. They've clearly lost momentum. Carlton have got all the run. They've got all the belief. They're looking for answers. And I'll tell you what, their leadership group, you just have witnessed Travis Boak work himself into the ground the last 5 minutes. They have raised the bar. They are looking to get their team over the line.
To the wing. Lobe ran off. Wingard. Caught by Dygan, too high.
Hanging by a thread at the moment.
Well, Wingard's the one. He's the match winner that really has had a very quiet night tonight. He's the one missing for Port Adelaide at present. Came in under a bit of an injury cloud. Suspected that he's got a bit of a nick in the groin.
He was subbed out in the third quarter last week with the groin, Chad Wingard. And there was thought that he'd pull out of this contest. He never pulls out of any contest. Kasisi dragged down. Gang tackle, ball up. There he is. Who knows, maybe even all-Australian bound Chad Wingard. And again, the roar is deafening here at AAMI. Sun fading on the last ever AFL game to be played here. And it's going to go down to the wire.
Got to be really careful here, Port Adelaide. They've got to hit a target going forward. Carlton have got the sweeper, and they'll go charging into the defence. That clearly was a free kick.
Corns not paid the free. Stevenson caught, dragged down. No prior.
Can't recognise his pressure now from Carlton from the first quarter and a half.
Holding the ball.
It's a different team.
Where did that come from, that decision?
Did he have prior opportunity then?
Well, I guess he said he didn't make a genuine attempt, but I think they're a little confused about what a genuine attempt is when you're wrapped up in a strong tackle. I think it was gang tackle then.
Fortune favouring the Blues now because they're the brave. They're taking it on at every opportunity. Jamison all the way back to Walker. One-on-ones everywhere he looks. He has to pick one. Heads to the wing, and Arnfield wins a free against Kasisi.
Well, Jamison's had a really good second half. He would have been frustrated watching all the missed shots at goal, but he's delivering now.
Oh, that's just the one place you don't kick it, is to where the spare is.
Westhoff made to earn it by weight.
That could be 50.
Wait for the roar if it is.
Yep.
Oh, did he have to run all the way up?
It's good theatrics, though.
Yeah, that's true. Equal to the theatre of the occasion.
I'll tell you what they do need to do, Dwayne, is get Chris Yarran back on the ground. He's been pacing the boundary line here, trying to get Sub back into the action because he's the one. He's the one who's swung this game initially. Halfway through the third term, he just can't get back on.
So's Travis Boak, just charged onto the ground. Ollie Wine ready to go as well.
Westhoff long, Renoff and Jamison. Again, the Jamison fist. And Schultz content to roll it across the line. They are here in their droves, the Port fans. And the Blues could steal the show. Yarran about to come back on. Port Adelaide has led from the outset in this game. Warnock scrambles a kick. Logan dragged down.
And on the verge of something special, the Blues, aren't they? It'll be their biggest comeback, 39 points, since round 3 back in 2007, when they came back from 8 goals down against the Bombers. But they've had a big comeback like this for a number of years.
Well, having lost so many games where they were seemingly in control, and particularly last week, this would be just the sort of fillip they need going into finals footy. At half-time, you didn't even want them there. Now they're playing the exciting stuff that you know can be competitive.
So there's the run that's back. Walker sends it to half forward to Murphy, who's lifted.
Yeah, he's been good, Walker.
He's got Betts at full forward, puts it in his direction to the pocket. Big fist, Jonas. Kills it across the line. And we're inside 9 minutes to full time.
There's Yarran.
Finally back on. He's been on the bench for the best part of 6 minutes.
Corn's got his hands free just in time. Lobe made it somebody else's problem. Schultz comes down.
Oh, intercept.
Wingard threw that away. The umpire let him get away with it. Renoff. Boak. Schultz.
Yarran's the defender.
Got to run and carry.
Travis Boak to set it all up. He holds. Waits.
No one to kick to, and no one's working from behind the footy. This is really poor of Port.
Kasisi to Monfries. They haven't turned it over yet.
No, but what it does show is Monfries wasn't prepared to run earlier.
Correct.
I know he got there in the finish, but that was a goal that went begging. In fact, Travis Boak, the skipper, played it superbly.
Just too many tired legs for Port behind the football.
Long to Westhoff in the pocket. Gets there and marks on the line.
Out in the foot. Oh, no, he's paid it. He pointed the wrong way initially, the umpire. This would take a spectacular round the corner snap. And they've got nobody on the goal line, Port Adelaide. Someone needs to push to the goal line.
He's going to walk in from the gutter.
Better get plenty of height on the kick.
No one pressuring the kick either.
They lead by 5 points. Oh, freak show! What a goal!
Not sure why no one was pressuring that kick. Not trying to take anything away from the kick. It was one of the best J-curves we've seen under this sort of pressure.
But there should have been someone standing the bare minimum distance that the umpire would allow on the inside, so that he didn't have the ability just to walk in so casually and feel the angle and kick under no pressure.
And take your hat off to Travis Boak, who controlled that situation leading up to it magnificently.
And suddenly North Melbourne's finals chances are back on the agenda. Adelaide's finals chances. And Carlton now 11 points down. Ton of time left though. A little momentum swing. Can the Blues steal it back? Ollie Wines caught. Lobe dragged down. Eddie Betts scrambles inside 50. Almost a free to Murphy. O'Shea to Jonas.
Oh, bad kick.
Simpson's about to pump it back, you'd think.
And Travis Boak to kick it to. He went to space.
Curnow puts it to the pocket. Trengove, Cruiser, both go up. Almost stripped. Trengove won it back.
Gee, was good, Trengove.
It was.
Is that out in the full? No, it's not.
It looked like Eddie was all the way through.
Correct. And he just snatched it out of his hands.
Let's have a look at this important one. Trengove's at the front.
Garland, in fact, it was. Nearly had it.
It's exceeding expectations, this one. Lobe knocks it down almost to Warnock. Murphy still a chance. Shrugs a high tackle. Digan came on as the sub. Late inclusion. Can't kick it.
It was a great handball to space. I'm not sure whether Murphy knew he was there from a structural perspective. Nevertheless, he was there, and the vision was superb. Pity the execution not slightly better for Digan.
Manned up everywhere, one-on-one.
Everybody takes a breath. Stevenson, Port Adelaide sub, back into the lineup this week.
Ruckman down the line over the boundary would be the play for Kane Corns.
Corns sees Young.
Jeez.
Young could play on if he wanted to, but unlike the first 3 quarters, Port Adelaide right now don't want to.
But you think they need to kick another goal, Dwayne? It's a long time to hang on for, 6.5 minutes.
To Moore, who worked hard.
There's legitimately about 6 Port Adelaide players working hard here. They are out on their feet.
There's that centering
Didn't
kick.
pay it. It looked to be a good kick, but he didn't hold the mark.
Advantage played. The Blues on the march. White gives it up to Murphy. He's got Betts short. He goes himself. Says, leave it to me. We're still a finals chance.
They won't go away. It looked to be a good kick into the middle of the ground from Port Adelaide. I thought they were in control. Does he take the mark? There's 2 players there.
Wouldn't have kicked it there myself, but it was a good kick, good enough to be able to mark.
Armfield just got there to spoil it.
But Dwayne, you talk about Murphy needing one of those games as a skipper like a Kernan and
a Judd and a Bradley.
They're the ones I was looking for. Well, right now we're seeing him drag his team across the line.
Absolutely, you're spot on, Gerard. This could be the making of Mark Murphy as a captain. He is inspiring right now. It's a 4-point game. If you've just joined us, the Blues have not led all day. From 39 points down, they've come.
In this last quarter, Dwayne, he's had 7 possessions and he's kicked 2 big snags.
Down to Young, got a handball off just in time. Now Port Adelaide's captain's turn. Boak, pass Schultz. Blues have the numbers for the crumb.
2 drop marks.
Yeah. And that's the problem. If you don't hit that target with a pinpoint pass, it comes back with interest.
Corns, good bump. Digan took him down fair. Bell bangs it to full forward. It's long. It's there for the first time today. Carlton in front.
Incredible comeback. This is just brilliant footy. Still got to get across the line. But it's been an inspired comeback from the Blues. And this is a magnificent kick from a young bloke. How it got through to the keeper is beyond me, but it did. Everybody suffering from fatigue in the Port Adelaide jumper right now.
You can be sure he wants to play finals. He knows he will. But Port Adelaide want to go in with momentum. Right now the Blues lead by 2 points. And a final spot is theirs to lose right now, Carlton. Mad scramble in the middle. Amazing scenes here. 7th game of the season from Tom Bell. And the biggest moment of his career. He may have just put the Blues into the finals. Monfries flicks it wide. Pittard from the stand start. The Blues doing everything right now. Arnfield tried a quick-fire handball. Arnfield scrambles it forward again. Cruiser comes hard.
She's a bit the ball hard this quarter, the Blues.
Taps it down. Where was this in the first half? O'Shea run down by Waite. Umpires have put the whistle away.
Look at this.
Bryce Gibbs back home. He played Little League here as a kid. Last ever game here, and he makes a statement.
Well, he missed a big one last week. He wasn't going to miss that one. He has put a nail in it, Jason. Going to be hard to drag it back from here with 5 minutes or 4.5 to play. Can still do it, Port Adelaide. But this is just a tidal wave of momentum to the navy blue. And wouldn't they like to be wearing the navy blue?
Port Adelaide supporters were looking for a free kick for Cameron O'Shea, but the umpire adjudicated no in the back. He had all the time just to stroll in and finish that off Bryce Gibbs. All momentum with the Blues.
Finals have started early. You're watching one right here. It's unfolding magnificently before your eyes. Travis Boak trying to inspire his men back. 4 minutes left. Wingard throws it away, allowed to get away with it. Robinson can't. Cassisi, the ex-captain, tries to. Flicks it out. Tui couldn't quite get his arms free, but the umpires have put the whistles away. Wingard, oh, doesn't he love a big moment?
What a game this has been. Amazing goal. Might have come off the back of a throw, I reckon, Jason.
So, Jared.
Umpire put half a whistle up, or bent half an arm.
Here it is.
Let's just have another look for the scoop.
That's a throw.
Nevertheless, it was a brilliant conversion by Chad Wingard, and they're going to need another one from him if they're to go into the finals with a win.
Cassisi, did he slap it or did he scoop it?
Yeah, certainly going there. There's probably a 7-iron.
A deafening roar ringing around AAMI Stadium again. Bryce Gibbs just keeps on keeping on. Bangs it inside 50. Wait!
Well, they've had too much pace outside the stoppages, the Blues. You saw Bryce Gibbs there able to run away from Kane Corns, who's given his all and he's been on the end of a couple of heavy shepherds. But he just doesn't have the leg speed. Once that ball spills from the contest, no chance of stopping a Bryce Gibbs as he ran away and then delivered the ball going forward.
He's been dodgy in front of goal today. This would almost get them into September. Almost.
Well, they were beset by pestilence and disease called shots at goal, kicking set shots at goal in the first half. And in this last quarter and a half, it's got a hell of a lot better. In particular, since Mark Murphy dobbed one in the last quarter. But centre clearances has been the absolute disaster for them, Port Adelaide. It has been a one-way highway for the Blues in the second half of the match.
Yeah, 11-2, the centre clearances in the second half.
Well, that fantastic graphic tells the story, 11-2. And it comes down to this. 3 minutes. And the Blues are into the finals with Port Adelaide. A rolling ball to half forward. Tui attacks it.
Too quick. They've got all the legs, the Blues.
Kicks it long towards the wing. Bell stands under it. Stevenson, huge fist. Wingard again to set it up. Wobbly kick finds Westhoff. Can't shrug McGuinness. Throws that to Cassisi. Hands it out to Young. Puts it to the pocket. Schultz!
She did that well.
He did it brilliantly. If he go back and kick this, it'll be an incredible goal.
He held off Jamison with one hand.
He doesn't know how long left. He looks at the scoreboard. There's 29 minutes gone. He doesn't know there's still 2 minutes. Bends it around the body.
Oh, no.
This just keeps getting better and better. They may have saved the best of ever till last.
That's a freak show.
They won't lie down, Port Adelaide. To their credit, they look out on their feet. They look like there's no run left, but they're finding a way to stay with Carlton as Carlton surged in this last quarter. Jamison wanted a hold on the jacket, but the finish here, so cool. And again, no one on the inside that stopped him from running around.
If Dwayne Russell had been here calling the match, he would have said crazy good. Well, Boak was a dominant factor in that goal, winning the clearance from the centre. Can he do it again? Somebody from Port needs to.
Real space at the front of the square here for the fast break.
All about the clearance. Big leap from Simpson, couldn't quite. Robinson down hurt, holding his face. Simpson scrambles it forward. Good fist though from O'Shea, it comes back. Scrambles it towards half forward. Young went past it, got it back again. Got his hands free, flicks it out to Ebert, who's been inspiring. Tied up, Ellard. Out to Murphy, we're down to 1 minute and 40. Corns sends it to attacking 50. Monfries, the flick down. McGuinness read it well. Robinson, big bomb. Warnock, he puts it to grass. Can you believe that? That was the game. He marks that, it's all over. Kick to half forward. Yaron.
They couldn't get there. Too tight, Port Adelaide. Couldn't get there to make a contest. And now they got the ability to man up. They've got to really man up and force Yaron to kick to a contest.
Todd to play on. 2 points to margin. Gibbs goes up, knocks it to ground. Hard attack from all players. The Blues are almost into September. They're 50 seconds away. First season under Mick Malthouse. I've had a little bit of luck on the way. The Essendon bombshell. Murphy can't. Young can. Stevenson. There's another roll of the dice coming. Trengove. Schultz is on the march. Down to 30. Takes them on. Hands it up. Travis Boak. Broadbent. Kickable. Goes long. Goes into the post. For the record, a draw is good enough for Carlton to make the finals. Blues fans watching at home, a draw is good enough.
The place would have erupted if that went through.
Mick Malthouse, like every one of the 50,000 here, out of his seat. Renoff flies, hits the deck, down to 20 seconds. One ball up, one clearance, one moment to be a hero. Ball in, still a chance. The Blues win, they're in. The Blues draw, they're in.
No point Port Adelaide allowing Henderson to sit loose. A quick kick behind the play. They've got to push players forward.
Big thump. The seconds start ticking down.
Oh, that's quickly delivered.
Gee, the umpire thinks about it. Oh, boy, that was a big call.
He sprinted over the line, didn't he? Imagine if he had it paid back. They've done enough.
Just a free kick. The only thing that can stop them. In your dreams, Carlton fans. From 29 points down and into the finals. You can only dream of wins like this. Away from home, against the odds. And the last ever AFL game at AAMI Stadium has been breathtaking.
I think that's the only word to describe it, Jason. It was a breathtaking match. It was all one way, Port Adelaide initially. Carlton were doing enough to hang in there, but just couldn't get the job done in front of goal. Then the discipline started to fall apart. But let's go down to Mark Murphy, who was superb to get the side across the line, David.